question. Is there? Question? Did you put your hand up? Did you put your hand up?
Me?
Yeah, please.
Actually, I got stuck in the first part only.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Means you didn't listen to anything after that? Or?
No, I've been listening to it. I thought that I might get the answer somewhere down in the later part of the
No,
conversation.
please. We'll have discussion now.
Yeah, so you told about the Aurobindo's teaching about limitation.
Self-forgetfulness,
Self-
imitative, artificial.
Yeah, so imitation. So how far do I take imitation? So I've been talking about Buddha nature. So even if I try to imbibe the nature of Lord Buddha,
Yeah.
won't that be imitation?
Yes, there is good imitation and bad imitation. And after a certain point, imitation becomes natural. Like we imitate our parents when we learn language, I guess. We're starting imitating, We imitate someone, when we learn to ride a bicycle, we imitate certain things we see. And we fall off. And then the imitation one day becomes, wow, I can ride the bicycle. No longer imitation, I know how to ride the bicycle. The child makes tentative steps to stand up, walk, crawl by looking at other people, and etc., and slowly becomes real. So some imitation is very good. What Aurobindo was saying is, don't imitate something which is alien to your own parampara, your own true condition, your own culture, your own tradition, which is good for you. Don't take on something alien which you don't even understand and which does not suit your condition. That's what he's saying in that text. So here we're saying, don't imitate things which are actually harming you. Some things don't harm us, so it's good to imitate them initially. It's like every morning in the morning when I pray, oh, may I become a Buddha, It's a kind of imitation for me in the beginning. I'm imitating my teachers. One day I hope it will become more real. But it's a good imitation because it's got a good meaning behind it, and the aspiration is very noble, and so forth. So that's a good thing to imitate. But of course, one tries to make it more and more real, and not just copying.
Yeah, but how do I know that one thing is good or one thing is bad unless I go through it?
Good question. I think your human intelligence can tell you a lot. You can look at what happens to people who are doing one kind of activities and people who are doing another kind. What's the result of that? So if you want to imitate Donald Trump, or you want to imitate Hillary Clinton, or you want to imitate Modi, or you want to imitate your favorite film star, or do you want to imitate His Holiness Dalai Lama, or your teacher, who do you want to imitate? You want to imitate your mother or your father? You have to check up by what they're like, these people, how they behave, their effect on others. You have to check up. You have to be like a good scientist. The Buddha said, didn't he, you have to put some energy into being a Buddhist. Though he didn't put it in that language. He said, don't accept anything I say. He said, check it like a goldsmith tests gold. Cutting, rubbing, burning. You have to do 3 things to test gold properly, apparently. Maybe more as well. So we have to check. If I want to imitate the Dalai Lama, I can't just say, oh, I'm a follower of the Dalai Lama. I have to check, what is Dalai Lama? Who is Dalai Lama? What does he do that is so great? Why should I imitate him? To the extent of shaving my head and wearing maroon robes. And even wearing the same kind of, it's called a donka. Donka. Not donkey, donka. Not something the Buddha would have worn. Why do I imitate the Dalai Lama? I could imitate something else. Easier, actually. It's quicker to wear jeans and a t-shirt in the morning. Why don't I imitate Brad Pitt or someone? And these other great people who make a lot of money. I should imitate them, no? I wouldn't have to worry about the bills every month. It's so easy. But I don't, because I feel, having thought a bit about it and seen and met His Holiness, luckily, I feel this is a worthy person to emulate, even to imitate in a sense. But of course, imitation has a certain negative connotation, I agree. We should never just be imitating, we should be learning and putting it into real practice. So imitation has its limitations, yeah. Just the very word itself indicates something not quite deep enough. Imitation art, imitation this. It's an imitation North Face jacket, it's an imitation Samsung or whatever, falls apart, explodes even quicker than Samsung 7, whatever. So like that, we have to be careful of imitations. We become others an imitation person. We imitate all of the things we think are good in our culture. We wear the right clothes. We are very smart and trendy. We have the right technology in our hands. If it's just imitation, it's like the Buddha said in one text, we are like, life is like a empty, painted chariot. Fools get caught up in that chariot, you know. It's just an empty, can't remember the full quote, like a false painted chariot that fools get, you know, caught up in. We have to be careful, yeah. Good question.
I think Sri Aurobindo also spoke of imitation in the context of Swadharma, that know your own dharma.
Swadharma, yeah.
What is the aim of your life? So
Yeah.
tune in into your own Swadharma to know who you are, and then you will not imitate. Then you will be true to your own self. So even in that context, he speaks a lot about
Yes.
and writes a lot
Absolutely.
about Swadharma.
It's basically about dharma. So the lion should never imitate the sheep, and a sheep shouldn't imitate a lion, because it will get into trouble, you know. So like that, we have to follow our own true path, which is one of the meanings of dharma in Hindi, in Indian culture. Dharma means your own duty, your path, what's good for you. What's good for you, even according to eating and drinking, is not good for another person, according to Indian wisdom. Ayurveda will tell you what is good for you at a particular season of the year, not just according to who you are, but the season. So for another person, it's different. You know, very skillful, very complex, very beautiful, amazing teachings in Chinese and Tibetan and Indian medicine, because they understand deeply who we are, what a person is, according to who actually the person is, not just some standardized thing. So the medicine given to you will be different from the medicine given to me, because you have a different constitution, and at a different time of year you will get different dietary advice, etc., etc. We neglect all these things. And nowadays doctors, ordinary doctors, don't have the ability to give that kind of advice. Jo marzi khao. They just say if you have diabetes, don't eat so much rice. That kind of thing they know. But otherwise not very not very subtle. So this way we sabotage ourselves. Wrong food, wrong eating, wrong drinking, wrong lifestyle. We're just ruining our health on that practical level by not understanding our very body and how it works. Spending too much time looking at screens is very powerfully bad for the human mind and body. We don't understand. We don't want to know. You know? So many things we imitate, we don't know how much they are harming us. And when we read a good text on Ayurveda, let alone Dharma, Buddhist Dharma, Ayurveda, or these kind of things, it's so eye-opening. Or on yoga tradition. Wow. Why eat at a certain time? Why go to bed at a certain time? Why get up at a certain time? It's all meaningful, according to our connection with also the environment, the cosmos, the quality of air and prana at different times of day and night and so forth. It's so meaningful. But we've lost this wisdom, or we haven't lost it completely. We ignore it because we are into certain habit patterns that are self-destructive and created by a producer-consumer society which is more interested in show and profits, and which is run by a kind of power which is not conducive to peace, happiness, inner reflection at all. It's totally dominated by external things and money and so forth. So of course, totally self-destructive. I mean, look what we're doing to the planet. We're an insane species, insane. 2 degrees will keep the global warming till 2 degrees. It won't happen. It's not happening. It's going to go up much more than that. Okay. Short-term profit, short-term, you know. It's people who have children and grandchildren who are cutting down the Amazon rainforest to grow soybeans to feed cattle, to eat the cattle. Stupid. Just because you want the taste of meat in your mouth. I'm not speaking as a fanatical vegetarian. I eat eggs. I don't eat meat. I used to eat fish. I'm not a fanatical vegetarian. I would eat meat if I had to. You know. But we're crazy cutting down rainforests just to grow soybeans in order to feed cattle. It's so wasteful. We're doing it. People who have children and grandchildren are doing this. What kind of world they want their children and grandchildren to live in? It's crazy. This is insanity. This is self-sabotage of the worst kind. Destroying the very foundation of our existence, this planet. As though, you know, there's some scheme to migrate soon to another planet. NASA is finding all these other planets in other galaxies. You know, we'll get there, don't worry. Bharat, we'll get to Mars also, you know, no problem. You know, a little Indian colony there with samosas and, you know, butter chicken masala on Mars. Take it. Maybe it'll happen. But how long? Well, soon Mars will become overpopulated. And people will be fighting there. Mars is the god of war. वहाँ तो ज़रूर लड़ाई होगा. Venus is too hot. Too hot to go to Venus. Mercury, I don't know. Maybe we should go to the sun, you know. Back to the Buddha nature. Joking. Maybe moon is good. Seems more realistic. It's only 250 or something thousand miles away. Kind of looks nice. Yeah. So yeah, it's 1:16. I'm happy to have more discussion. I have nowhere to go except home. But if anyone needs to go, fine. Just remember the talk Monday, and then 1st October we'll be looking at Shantideva, the great Shantideva. If you have a chance to look up Shantideva online, please do. This guide to the Bodhisattva's way of life, or called Way of the Bodhisattva, Shantideva. Great man, a great text. Everyone should. This is like the Bible of Mahayana Buddhism. Short Bible of Mahayana Buddhism.
In the example that you gave, where someone is having children and grandchildren and cutting forest and
planting soya to feed cattle, to kill them and eat them.
Yeah, I think that sometimes that this person, even if he realizes that he's doing the wrong thing, he would also think that if he wouldn't do it, then others are anyway going to do it. So
passing the buck, yeah. Basically, it's saying, yeah, this is the way the world is. So I'm just going to imitate or not care. I'm going to sit quietly. This is going to happen. I as one individual can't do anything. That's the logic, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to just watch television or do what I do. If we all start thinking like that, nothing's going to happen, right? As the great Edmund Burke said, for the triumph of evil, it is only necessary that good men do nothing. For the triumph of evil, it is only necessary for good men to do nothing. Good men and women, sorry, ladies. I mean, it'd be better if it was just women in charge, basically. You know, the men should just go and watch football. Let the women take charge for a while. So, for the triumph of evil, it is only necessary that good women do nothing. Good men do nothing. But this is the way of the world. I can't do anything. Take it. What's the next program? Cop out. That's called cowardliness. That would be called irresponsibility in the Mahayana tradition. If our job, if we pray in the morning, we are here to help sentient beings and we don't give a damn about these things, we are lazy. We are lazy people. We are allowing the forces which are powerfully negative to take over. And saying, well, I can't do anything. It's proven that some people can do something very powerful, especially if they get together with like-minded people. If Gandhi and others had just said, we can't do anything, the British are so powerful, and they were very powerful, if they just said, well, this is the way it is, what to do, Chalo, I'll just carry on with my farm in South Africa, raise my children, you know, then where would we be? Who knows? So I would say I don't agree with your attitude. I understand it, but I don't agree with it. And it's hypocritical for someone who has children to be still participant in a world that is destroying what will be the source of future sustenance for their children. It's hypocritical. You shouldn't have had the children in the first place if you're going to have a world which is destroying your children. Isn't it? It's crazy. It's a sign of insanity. The Buddha says we're sick. He's right. We're stupid and we're sick. We're garbage with Buddha nature hidden. We're acting in a garbage way temporarily, but with a heart of gold. You know, sometimes we say, no, even the worst robber has a heart of gold in that sense. The worst acting person is actually inside has amazing noble qualities. But we all have that. We're temporarily insecure, aren't we? We're fearful. We don't want to step out of line. We want to make sure we have enough money to die, in a decent room and not in the street. We have all these fears. So then we compromise. What else? Sir, is that a hand going up? Very tentative finger. It's like people at auctions. They don't want everyone to know, but they're voting like this.
Somebody else may have it, so I will raise a little. So may I?
Please. I'm so happy when people come in.
Well, I'm
Share the limelight.
First timer, so I
Very
have
good.
not attended any.
Welcome to
first,
Tushita.
But I have a couple of questions.
Please, sir. Yeah.
Well, one of them is related to meditation practices.
Okay.
And, the second one is related to our mindset. So I'll ask the second one first. I have read a lot about love and compassion while we are practicing
In which tradition?
in both in Hinduism. Then I learned more about Sikhism, and then right now my interest is in Buddhism. So
Buddhism.
I kind of spiritual awareness helps me in learning these things. So love and compassion kind of confuses me sometimes, honestly, because we tend to love people who are in our family, maybe our friends.
Indeed.
That is a natural process.
Yes.
But we are told to love everyone, right? Which is kind of difficult in my
Yes,
understanding.
it is indeed.
Then when we go for the easiest option, compassion.
Easier.
Of course, the easiest one is to fight them, but
How do you define compassion?
compassion, I most kindly, just how kind we can be to others.
How do you define love?
Love cannot be defined in my.
Okay, so we have to define. In Buddhism, we define, to be clear. So by love here, we mean, in this tradition, the wish for others to be happy, the aspiration that others are happy, and then to do what we can to make them happy, irrespective of what they're doing to me, ideally. Compassion, little different. You can say brother, sister of love, but little different. Compassion is seeing the suffering of others, seeing clearly the suffering of others on various levels, according to Lord Buddha, and wishing others, aspiring that others be free of their suffering, and doing what you can, hopefully, to help others be free of their suffering. So you see, very distinct, connected, but very clear definitions.
What would be the definition of like?
Of what?
Like, you make that statement.
No, what chodiyavi? Light chodiyavi. Let's stay sorry with this question. So do you understand what I'm saying? Love and compassion, very clear in our tradition. Love is the wish for others to be happy. It's an affection towards others, wishing how wonderful if they can be happy, and if I can do something great. Compassion is seeing their suffering, their pain, on different levels. There's so many levels of pain, very subtle, some of them. Even we would say the most successful, happy businessman in the world is suffering, according to Buddhism. So, seeing that, aspiring more, may they be free of their suffering. May I do something to free them from their suffering, if I can. So now you see what I mean by them, those terms. What you mean seems to be different, or you seem to be unclear. So what do you think of these definitions?
Well, I think love is kind of difficult to attain.
Of course, they're both difficult.
Even with our family. Even
Of course,
people
of
who we
course,
are born
of course
with,
it
very
is.
difficult.
Of course.
So people like us, we try to attain compassion with others. We just want to have it more with our friends at least.
Yes, yes. So what are you saying actually? That these things are difficult?
How do we actually go with the part of love? Because we are actually not going to stay.
Yeah. This is a huge question. This would take another few days, and you have to keep on coming to Tushita. But basically, it's about understanding ourselves and understanding others, our situation. That's why Buddha started with suffering. When we understand that we are all in the same situation together, and it's a difficult, challenging situation, and when we understand that we have a very noble-hearted quality to us, and when we begin to be more gentle with us and begin to practice meditation and calming the mind, we see that we can develop peace and happiness for ourselves to some extent. Then we wish to share that with others. Starting with the people close to us. Yeah, that's intelligent. Start with people close to you. Don't start with the person you dislike the most. Start with the person you love. Say, how wonderful if they're happy. Now this other person I don't know so well, maybe the doodh wala or the newspaper wala, I don't know them well, but they also want to be happy. They have problems. They want to be happy. They're happy when people love them. They're happy when they get something nice. They're happy when someone says a kind word to them. So why do I separate so much between my close person and this newspaper wala? Start with that level. Don't take the enemy first. That's difficult. So this newspaper wala, bichara, is coming in the morning to deliver my newspaper, in the heat and in the cold. Can't I feel love for him? Of course I can, if I try. But we have to put some mental effort. Love not meaning we're inviting him up, but if we see him and he throws the newspaper up, we can say thank you. We don't just say, oh, you're 5 minutes late. We can say thank you. Smile at the guy. Some of them are quite old, you know. They're riding their bicycles, 6, 7 a.m. in the morning in the heat and the cold, to deliver just my newspaper. So I can sit there with my tea and read the newspaper. So we can feel love for this person. Definitely. We can feel love for the person in the metro who looks sad, unhappy, tired, lonely, distracted. You can see they're fidgeting with their gadgets, not happy, just passing time. We can feel love for them. And then by doing more meditation, more analysis, we can feel love for the people we hate on television, in politics, and even in our real life. We can begin to at least wish that they're happy. Because actually if they're happier, they'll treat me better. Isn't it? They're treating me badly because they're unhappy. They're frustrated. They're miserable. They're sick. The more love they have in their hearts, the less sick they will be. The nicer they will treat you also. So you see, there are ways to think about it, to make it happen. Again, it won't happen immediately, I agree. And start with people you already like. Feel a deeper connection with them. See how the person, even the newspaper wala, how the newspaper wala is suffering. In a sense, he shares human sufferings. I'm not just talking about the heat and the cold and getting up early to do the newspaper round. He has problems at home. He has a human body, so he'll be having sicknesses. He'll be having this issue, that issue. Children to be educated, jo bhi hai. Fights with the wife, yeah, jo bhi karta hai. So he has problems too. So I can feel compassion for him, because that's the definition of compassion. Seeing his sufferings, oh, I can feel it because I also have such sufferings. Similar to his, not exactly the same, but when he has suffering and when I have suffering, the feeling is kind of the same. And we don't want it. So we want to get rid of it. And so you can feel compassion for the newspaper wala. Maybe not the baniya in the shop who has overcharged you. That may take some more time. But even there you can say, okay, he's overcharged me. Why? Why he's so attached to money? Or if he is actually short of money, going out of business, you feel sorry for the guy because the guy is losing his business. So that's why he's overcharging you. It's not some conspiracy against you. It's his causes and conditions are creating the cause for him to overcharge you and to lie to you even. So how sad that a human being with Buddha nature is having to behave like that. You can feel very sorry in a good way for the baniya in the shop. Why not? So it's a question, according to His Holiness Dalai Lama and Mahayana Buddhism, proper analysis. If we know how to use our thinking process, we can use it very beautifully to elicit positive emotions. But we have to use our intelligence to think in the right way. If we only think about what that person has done to me, we will never develop love and compassion. Love and compassion come from seeing the other person's situation, not just me. Me is the big block. That big me who always wants to be the center and the world has to work for me. That's a big problem, right? But if we can see the other person from their perspective, put ourselves in their shoes, which all the great religions are saying, I think, then we see a different situation. That the shopkeeper has his issues, he has his problems, he has his anxiety about paying for his son or his daughter's wedding or school fees. That's why he's overcharging me. He has no personal animus against me, but he has certain causes and conditions in his life which are causing him. Or else he's just a kind of a greedy, insecure person. He's also very sad if he's like that. Someone with a jewel of a mind like Buddha nature is feeling greedy and insecure. How sad? He's forgotten his true nature. He's self-forgetful. He's become an artificial human being, in one sense, measured against Buddha nature and our potential. He's a lion, but he's behaving like a sheep, which is a pity. So we can begin to think like this, and there are some good books which you can read, excellent books by His Holiness and others on compassion and love. So I would suggest you read those. You can easily find them online also. One book by His Holiness called The Power of Compassion. You can loan you a booklet here called The Joy of Compassion by my own teacher, Lama Zopa Rinpoche. So that will give you food for good thought, not, mistaken thought or just uncontrolled thought, but good thought, which is essential. So try. What was your question on meditation?
Yes, that is kind of personal in that.
Okay.
So, thing is, when we meditate,
Mm.
in my practice, what I see, after like months of meditation,
What kind of meditation?
I used to do with the Hinduism. So
No, you have to describe it a bit, otherwise I won't know how to answer.
it is very similar the way people teach us here.
What was it? You're meditating on a sound or breath or a light or
Largely breath.
breath, like mindfulness. Okay.
But we are not so expert, so we just dwell on what.
No, I'm not an expert either. No.
So my question is, after a few months, I felt a lot of anger
Towards?
toward things, whatever I see, whatever I feel.
Meditation was making you
Somehow
feel
I
like that?
realize I have kind of exposed or kind of increased my anger level. So it
interesting.
was kind of unnatural for me. So is there some kind of exposure to these things? Once
Yeah,
you
yeah.
spend time?
It's like you've slowed down the automatic pilot in your life and you begin to see what's actually there. It's a good sign, you could say. Initially, it's a good sign. It may be a bad sign if you're really doing the wrong kind of meditation, but Buddha would say, wow, now you're beginning to see who you really are at the moment. You're temporarily an angry, disturbed person. You are sick, just like I said you are. You didn't believe me, but now you see you're sick, you have anger. So, Buddha might say, very good, very good. Now, keep on going. Don't identify with the anger, because that's not your true nature. It's a temporary thing. But this meditation is showing you this temporary factor in your mind, which is disturbing all living beings, not just you. So don't take it personally. This is disturbing all living beings, which is another reason to feel compassion for others. Just like this anger is disturbing you, you think it's not disturbing the paperwala and the shopkeeper? It is. Maybe you're more sensitive to it because you're meditating, but those people have anger. And it makes them unpopular, it makes them unhappy, it increases their blood pressure. According to scientists, it leads to more heart attacks, shorter life expectancy. So they're not getting any benefits from their anger. So then you can feel compassion, rather than just feeling sorry for yourself that I'm having anger in my meditation. So you see, you can use even your anger to congratulate yourself, first of all. Good, I'm beginning to see clearly what's in me. I thought I was a really great person without any faults, and now I'm seeing, the anger which is there. So it's like you've decided to clean your house, you lifted a carpet, you say, wow, there's dirty under there. I didn't know it was so dirty. Maybe spring cleaning is a good idea. Before Diwali, I have to really clean up like we do in India. So you can see the good side of it. Don't be upset by seeing your anger. It's very good. You're facing who you are at the moment. A part of what you are, not who you are. You're seeing the ingredients of it's like an inventory of your mind. You're seeing what's there. You will also see good qualities. Meditation will also bring out good qualities. Maybe not right now. Maybe you need to see the other ones first. So I would say very good. Don't worry about it, and don't meditate stressfully, like too hard. That can bring out tension and anger. We say stillness in the body, or rather people who know what they're talking about, they say stillness in the body, relaxation in the mind, but alertness and vigilance while you meditate. Relaxation is key. It's not, some people, they look so tense when they're meditating because they're trying too hard. You've got to relax, because meditating is making friends with yourself so that you can make friends with the world. That's what we say. Why would you want to make enemies of yourself? We're already doing that. So meditation is making friends with yourself so you can then be a friend to others, because you know what friendship means. Why? Because you practice already with yourself. Friendship is understanding, having patience, listening. That's what you do when you meditate. You look at yourself, you listen to your mind, you watch. Does that help?